Absolutely. Do not chase the money. Work without an expectation of receiving. I know that when you invest money, you want to receive money. It's going to come. It's going to come. Be valuable. Bring service. Be of service, because when you're valuable, you're unstoppable.
Welcome to the Inflow Podcast. I am your host, Michelle Bosch. I see a gaping hole across society that focuses on the outer work and forgets about the inner work, when what we really need is to bridge the gap between prosperity and spirituality to live a life in flow, with inflows of light, inflows of cash, inflows of creativity, inflows of grace in our lives. Each week, join me for powerful messages and interviews that will leave you inspired and ready to step into flow in your higher work. So now, let's go. Welcome. I'm Michelle Bosch. Super excited to be here with you guys today. I have this morning, or this afternoon, I should say already, Ellie Correa with us. She is an amazing, amazing lady. She is in the real estate space. She's been a realtor now for several years on both residential and land. And I am just super thrilled to have her because she is one of our amazing women investors inside of our land profit coaching group. And she has been doing an incredible job over the last 8 months, really breaking through, boundaries and really pushing the boundaries of possibilities for her and her family. So welcome, Ellie. Super excited to have you.
Thank you, Michelle. I'm very excited to be here as well. It's definitely been, in the works.
Yes, I'm super thrilled to have you, Ellie, and just, have a nice, honest chat, a conversation about, just how did you find land flipping? How did you come to this? And in general, I would love to get to know you more. So I know you are the daughter of an immigrant, which that is like straight to my heart because, I'm an immigrant myself, and probably my daughter, Sophia, will someday say, just like you talk about your father, she'll be talking about her parents being immigrants as well. So tell us a little bit about how you grew up around money and how was your upbringing in general, and how do you come into real estate?
Sure thing. So my parents are from Mexico, so I'm Mexican. I was born in the U.S. I was born in Miami. And, growing up, everything was great. And at one point, my parents decided to separate. So my mom became a single parent. And then that kind of led me to take on some roles that, no child you ever, needing to go into those roles. But I believe it made me resilient, to be able to have the determination to be able to get ahead. So as far as how was money growing up? Well, there wasn't much of it going around. And so I would say that my mom would work as a migrant worker. That means basically she traveled all through the U.S. to, during the season's crops, depending on what it was. Either for Florida, it was oranges, Michigan, apples, blueberries, strawberries, depends. So I had to take on in taking care of my brothers and sisters. There's 5 of us. One, she's older than me, so she moved out. So that made me the oldest in the house. Mm-hmm. So, just being at the house and taking care of kids, I knew at an early age, that's not for me. Listen, mm-hmm. I'd rather be out there and working. Tell me what I have to do, but don't keep me inside that house. So it's still the same today, actually. I cannot stay still. So it's been hard during this whole COVID situation, just being at home is just, I've been busy for sure. Still working on some things, but just to keep me just locked up, it just doesn't work.
That sounds like a natural born entrepreneur, you know what I mean? That can't sit still, that is curious about the world out there at large, that, believes in herself, that knows that, you're meant for more. Not that being a mother and being at home is not an incredibly, amazing role to have, but that we as women can also be defined by much more than, our mothering role as well. So totally honor that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to all the ladies that are out there making the household work. It's hard work. That's why I was running out. I don't want to do it, you know? But yeah, I mean, because of that, I made my first paycheck at 12 years old. I made $250 a week working out in the fields at 12. And quite honestly, I just got out just because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the work, even if it was labor intensive. I just really, really like to work. And so at 12 years old, you know, going back, I mentioned growing up was hard. Single parent, there wasn't a lot to go around. So with that said, at 12, I made my first paycheck, and then, you know, it's just dreaming and wanting more for myself, right? And so at that point, after I made the money that I made, I'd keep $20, and my mom would then have the rest for the bills, and I was fine because $20 back in that time was a lot of money. And plus I could do whatever I wanted, you know, with that money. And I would, anyways, it was good. So I was able to work and help my mom.
Now let's now fast forward. You become a paralegal. And then eventually you're not satisfied with that trajectory of where your life is going, and you get into real estate. You get your license. You're actually a licensed real estate agent in the state of Florida, correct?
That is correct.
And how did you find land flipping, and why did you decide that this is something that is worth pursuing?
Sure thing. When I was a realtor, I was getting all these deals I guess I was getting these clients wanting me to sell land for like $35,000, $25,000. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not going to make any money as a realtor, right? Because we get paid on commission. Yeah. And so the broker at that moment was like, what are you talking about, Ellie? If you don't want them, give them to me, because you know you can charge more percentage on commission on land. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute. So that kind of was like, okay, I turned around. I'm like, you serious? Like, what do you mean? And so it was just baby steps to learning how to do the actual work as a realtor. It's not always about money, and I'll get into that a little bit more a little later. But when he said 10% commission on these properties, it's like, okay, I don't need to sell these beautiful, lucrative houses, right, to make a living. I'm okay with just selling dirt. At that moment, I made a determination, like, this is what I'm doing. I'm selling land.
And so you're going then from, you know, the daughter of an immigrant, you know, into the U.S., doing, you know, all this entrepreneurial activity in your youth, to being a paralegal, to now being a realtor, not just of residential, but of land. But you're still in the mindset of like, I'm trying to make some commission. And then somehow you find us and we tell you, hey, forget about the 10%. How about the 2,000% that is possible if you actually act as an investor?
Absolutely. So what happened, I was contacting investors and, well, just landowners in general on Zillow. Okay. Yeah. So this is what I was doing. Hey, do you need help selling that piece of land? Right. And so, of course, they're like, well, let me try 2 more weeks. And then if it doesn't work, give me a call. Of course, I'd follow up, do my follow-up, and sure thing, they didn't sell the piece of land. So, I took it and sold it in 2 weeks for them. And I'm like, wait a minute. Okay. And so I double-sided, right, the deal. But then I saw exactly, it's like how much he purchased the property for. And I'm like, this is intriguing. I want to be on that side. I want to be the investor. I want to be the one that's profiting all this other money, right? Like you said, 200% of the money made on this deal. And so I started asking myself a lot of questions, more so switching over to an investment entrepreneur mindset. Yeah. And so that's where I was researching information on land. I was going on YouTube. Unfortunately, I didn't find you on YouTube, but as it would be, you know, meant to be, I heard Jack on a Millionaire Mindset podcast.
Beautiful.
And he gave so much information on there, and it was so freely given. And it's like, I found it. This is it. Yeah. And I was so excited. You know, I ran in, I was in my office, and I ran into the living room, and I told my husband, babe, I found it. And he's just like, what are you talking about? I said, I know how to do this. I know where I can get the answers to my questions that I haven't been able to answer. Because as a realtor, you know, sometimes there's a fine line of things that you can do. And it's like, there's so much other things. And I'm like, I found him. I said, he's so humble and he just really gives all this information. I've got to meet them. I've got to meet this program, like, you know. And so that was the beginning. Like, that was the beginning for sure. I Googled the Facebook page, and I bought the book, you know, looked at the book, Forever Cash, and then this is history.
That's something that, you know, that we always try to do whenever, you know, anyone tells us, you know, do you want to come and talk to us about land investing? You know, we've been doing now this over 18, 19 years now. And, you know, we've put blinders and become experts on one thing, you know, and that is land flipping. And now we feel that it is our mission. It's been so transformational for our lives that it is our mission to go out there and share it with the world, you know, very freely. You know, whenever we come and talk to anyone about land, our very first thing, or our very first hat on, is to be of service, and be of service first. And if I can rescue anyone, you know, from a corporate job that they hate, or whatever circumstance financial that they're going through, and you know, because I've been in that spot as well, where I've had no freedom, where I've had no fulfillment, and where certainly my paychecks have not matched, you know, the time and effort I was putting into a job. And so I think that definitely probably is what came along, you know, or came across when you heard Jack. And I'm so glad that, you know, our paths have crossed. And so then you know, you come in, you find out a little bit more about us, you join the Facebook community probably. And at some point you say, okay, I'm doing this, I'm committing, I'm stepping up, I'm committing to, you know, becoming the person that is required in order for, you know, me to become successful in this land flipping business. And you go for it. Did you go, you know, straight for coaching?
I did. I went straight for coaching right away when I signed up. And I went straight for coaching, but I didn't go ahead and start mailing right away. I didn't start the whole process because my mindset wasn't there. Okay. I was second guessing myself. I was second guessing so many other things, wanting to figure out everything, all the details before. I guess you could say before I was a perfectionist, because I don't claim that title anymore for various reasons. Because I found that only caps myself. I only have a limit to go because I didn't want to let go of a lot of things, right? As far as I wanted to do it all. It had to be perfect. So that has definitely not there anymore. I've learned a lot more about delegating in order to scale.
And progress over perfection, absolutely. And that's definitely a mindset shift, because, you know, when we start anything, we always think, and it's a valid way to start, that you want to do every single, you know, activity or every single step, you know, in order to gain mastery and know, you know, how to do it yourself. But you can also start this business from the outset with the perspective that you're going to become a CEO of this business, even though, you know, you might think it's a humble beginnings, you know, because it's land. It's not becoming the CEO of a large portfolio of apartment buildings or multifamily investments or whatever, you know what I mean? It's not something like that glamorous and sexy, but it might not be glamorous and sexy, but it produces real profits, real money in the bank, probably even with much more ease and less of the complication than that would. And if you think about yourself as a CEO, even though you may be starting with humble beginnings, you start building the business in a completely different way, with bringing in many more people from the beginning to help you, you know, much more team to delegate to, so that you can spend time on the activities that are more critical, that move the needle most. And I know that you've actually incorporated the family to come on board and do some of that busy work and take basically also some kind of ownership, you know, in this family business that you guys have started. And so some of the challenges were probably some paralysis analysis, like you said, some wanting to perfect everything. Jack and I have one of our core values, which is take bold action, which means go out there into the marketplace with an imperfect solution and get there very, very quickly. And then over a short period of time, reiterate, iterate, and refine and make it better. Because we want to gain that scalability quickly and find out, quite frankly, if something is going to work. You want to fail very fast to find out if it's going to work or not. If it's something where there's no models, where there's no blueprint. In this situation, you have a model, we have the strategies, you know what I mean? We have the blueprint, but it's still, if you don't make that switch of wanting to move towards progress versus perfection, I can see how that probably held you back for several months. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It held me back for 3 months. And it's like, but when I got there, it was just like, it was work, definitely putting in the work daily. So going in and out, maybe 13, 14-hour days at the beginning. But now it's like, I'm in the business maybe 3-4 hours a day. And then, hey, it's time to sit back and watch how everything's working out.
Now, not everything is roses, Ellie. So tell us a little bit about the challenges as you, pivoted from perfection to progress, bringing people in to help you, take care of certain of the steps of the business, and truly you becoming much more the CEO in charge of strategy, overall direction, overseeing, supervising. What were some of the challenges, whether it be from my mindset standpoint or actual tactical things that you needed to get over with, to get through or overcome?
Right. So the things that I needed to overcome is letting go, because even if it's not done exactly like you said to perfection, it's more so progress, and then handing it off. Listen, if they can do it, you're not to hover over that person, whoever you have, your VA or for me, it's my daughter, and letting her do what she does, and then maybe coming and just saying, listen, this is still the beginning phase of this. There may be some changes once you work on this. Please don't take it personal. We're going to work on this together. So I may add some things for this list or whatever it may be for the process. This is something we've never done before, or you've never done before, and I've never been in that position where I'm guiding someone to do exactly what it is that needs to be done. So that was definitely a big stepping stone for me, and a hurdle to get over. But like I said, if you're that person that wants to be in everything, you got to let it go. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Now, as far as having someone to be there with you, along this journey from the perspective of the coach, anything in particular where, your one-on-one coach has been instrumental in helping you overcome anything, either pertaining to the actual tactical know-how or mindset, or has this person been instrumental for both?
Instrumental for both. At the beginning, he asked, maybe on the first couple calls that we had, Ellie, what are your goals for the future? My goal, you know what I said? I said to fix my teeth. My husband's goal. Listen, this is just like funny, and it's just me to the core. I was thinking of so little, so goals that are so tiny. Like I want to, I don't know. We want to put an AC in the truck for my husband and in his old pickup truck that he has. And now that I think about it, I'm like, oh, that's so funny, because there are so many other goals. And he's like, this was Mike, and he's like, are you serious? Like. And I'm like, what? He's like, no, you need to dream bigger. And I'm like, well, it's kind of hard when you haven't had it, It's like, I know what I would like, but at that point, it's like, I don't know if I can have it though.
It's almost as if you're scared to dream too big, and to have the courage to dream that big. But we all have, and I think this is something that, all our coaches understand, is that we all have a responsibility, because before being coaches, they were like everyone else, trying to figure things out. Eventually, became part of our coaching program, and then actually decided to teach others as well and coach others as well. But it's this thing where you feel this incredible sense of responsibility for taking brave action and courageous actions and making courageous decisions, because every time you do so, you send this incredible wave of energy into the universe, and you kind of like imprint the universe with that courage, and it allows other people to also have that courage as well. So I can see how they probably were saying, yes, you're thinking too small. This is a 7-figure opportunity right here, right in front of you. And with the potential within a few quarters, like months, not 10, 20 years, to really, make this a full-time thing where you can retire from a job, or retire a spouse from a job, or really tangibly with real money in the bank, achieve certain milestones, that you might have for yourself. But I can totally see why in the beginning, it's not the very first lady that I hear saying, I think I had Megan Autry here as well a while back, and she was like, my goals were so small, and then I realized that I accomplished them in the first quarter of the year that I started coaching, within the first 3 months. And then I thought, oh my God, I need to start dreaming bigger, which actually brings me to the point. How many deals have you done since then? How much in profits have you done in these 8 months? In terms of like real concrete results?
So I've done 5 deals right now, and I have made, in the month of September, I have made $65,000, more than what I've ever made in 1 year, in 1 month. And so that is amazing, amazing, amazing. And so, and we still have other properties in escrow right now, some title issues, but that happens. But the properties are just coming.
Yeah.
Just coming.
Because you have now, a nice, wonderful, process with your seller lead generation machine in place. You're leveraging, the delegation and leveraging other people in your team, and you're also leveraging technology, which is amazing. And so just to be clear, of the 8 months that you have been, then 3 months you spent it analyzing, and perfecting without actually going out there and doing the work, And then in 5 months, pretty much in 5 months, you've done 5 deals,
right?
Of which in just the month of September, the deals from the month of September netted you $65,000 in profits.
That is correct. Just in that month. So it's going up.
That is like, brings me so much joy, Ellie, because that's real, you know what I mean? And you see immediately the correlation between your work, having a superior approach, a superior strategy, strategic advisory from a coach, and seeing that actually, produce the results. It's fantastic.
Right. And I knew actually coming in that I wanted to join coaching. I thought about it a little bit because,
it is an investment. It's not for everyone.
Absolutely. But I said, I want to accelerate. I do not want to wait a year or 2 to be in that position. I want to move fast. And so I'm like, I put myself a time frame or a goal for 6 months. I said, in 6 months, I want to be already making money in this business. And so, what was it? 5 months. We're here, and I'm already made, I'm able to recoup the investment already that I made for the coaching program. And now, I'm seeing profits. Yeah. It's amazing.
If from the get-go, you knew that you wanted to be part of, of the coaching program, you must have had a clear sense of faith in yourself that you could do this, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And then were there any mental hurdles? Were there anything that was saying, no, but I shouldn't do it because of this? And how did you overcome that hurdle?
Okay. So I had a client of mine who has been a real estate investor for a while, and he owns several mobile home parks, right? And he has several pieces of land, and I'm actually selling some land for him. And he's like, oh, so you're basically going to Basically, he said, you're going to be stealing from people, obtaining properties low, and so forth. And that really caused something in me, like made me pause. And it's like, I never want to do that. Like,
Yeah.
that's not what my goal is. If anything, my goal is to be able to help people.
It's to
Help
be of
people.
service. Absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly, to be of service. There's a lot of people that need money at the moment,
Yeah.
and therefore, if they inherited a piece of land, they want to sell it. Hey, I'm your answer here. How can I help you?
You're solving a problem. Absolutely.
Absolutely, solving a problem for them. I just had a couple months ago, I had someone just not email me, but mail me their husband's death certificate along with the signed offer, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. That to me like hit me right in my heart and my soul. It's like, this person really needs money. Like, for her to be able to do that, who does that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I was able to be of service and help her out. She's so appreciative that I was able to make it happen for her, bought the property. And listen, she texted me the other day and she's like, it was great doing business with you. Thank you so much. What you have done, you have no idea. And so it's that type of thing that we do here as an investors. It's not just, like you said, stealing money from people. It's not that.
It's not that at all. Yeah. And it's something that it's hard for people to understand, because you're extending an offer to a seller and they may choose to accept it or they may choose not to accept it. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? And depending on the circumstances in which they find themselves, you are definitely somebody that is solving a problem that they otherwise, would not be able to solve. It's a market that is highly illiquid except for investors, in the land space in general. And so, yeah, that's definitely a mindset shift. And that I think if you go out from the point of view of trying to make money and putting money first versus being of service to the seller and being of service to your buyer, that should be, I think, in my opinion, the most important motivation and intention. And then the profits are going to come as a result of you solving problems. Absolutely. No questions about it. But you're right. A lot of us, when we're making a low offer, feel that, are we doing this? Is this a good way, to earn a profit? Of course it is a good way, because nobody's being put, a gun to their head to say, okay, you got to take this offer. And it's more than usual. It is an offer that serves the purpose, or that serves for a solution for the problem that they have in the moment, whether it be money to move, to a different state, whether it be money to pay for, medical bills, whether it be money to, make a move, to pay for something that, like you said, a dental emergency, a car emergency if your car broke down, you know what I mean? And so, and that is part of, in my opinion, committing to mastery is using all the strategies that we're teaching you for good, and with the heart of a servant, you know what I mean? And in helping people basically get rid of properties that they don't no longer need. Absolutely.
Yes, correct.
So Ellie, I know that, I follow you on Facebook as well. And I know that you are a woman of faith. And I want to, segue a little bit. How has your faith been a part of this journey right now over the last 8 months? How have you incorporated that, and what role has it played?
Absolutely. So first of all, yes, I am a servant of my Lord Jesus Christ. And I want to say that faith is everything, right? Mm-hmm. Being a value of people and serving, it's biblical, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So how do I incorporate that into my business? I pray over my business. I pray over my clients, and I pray over my deals. It's like, how can I be of service to someone? God, let you be leading in whatever transaction I have. Let you be running my business for me. I humble myself, and even when that money comes in, just being humble about it, and knowing that with this money, you're going to be able to help a lot of people, So to me, faith is really everything, as far as every part of my life.
Yeah.
I have, in my office, I have a lot of biblical verses that really, really get me going and remind me of the promises of God that he has for me. Right? Because he's already promised it. So I believe him at his word.
You need to claim it now and kind of align with God. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so I do start with some affirmations in the morning
I love
So
that.
I love that. And I just remind myself, everything. I'm blessed, I'm powerful, I'm smart, I'm courageous, I'm more than enough. I am loved, I'm redeemed. Yeah, I'm powerful, I'm victorious. All these things, affirmations, I totally, it's just part of my life and what I
It's
do.
kind of like reprogramming our subconscious, because all the information that usually comes into our brains is not that kind of, that kind of stuff is actually, quite negative, to be frank. You know what I mean? And it doesn't just come, from media. Sometimes it comes from our, sometimes even our closest circle, of friends, of family, and so on and so forth. Which brings me now to the question of family. And so now I know you mentioned you have one of your daughters, in terms of assisting you right now in the business. Who else is part of the business?
Right. So it's my three daughters.
Okay. All three. Okay, great.
Three daughters. Yes. So my 22-year-old daughter was the one that started the business with me first. She's doing the marketing part of the property.
Okay.
Of the business. And then my 17-year-old at that time, she just turned 18. She does all the mailing. If we have to do any mailing, for the most part, we forward mailing, and we don't do it in-house. We send it out.
You outsource it, yeah.
We outsource it. But if it's some offer letters, or if we're doing neighbor letters, we'll do that in-house. And so she'll handle that part, or just little things that I can give her. Now, she's now going to be able to help me with QuickBooks and getting some things done. I just, my husband's like, Ellie, let's work on their strengths. So it's like, great idea. So we know that she's good with numbers. We're going to have her help with that. And she was fine. They agree to it. So that's awesome. And they get paid. They get paid. So I have them turn in timesheets to me. They have to prepare timesheets and so forth. We had our first Zoom call the other day. And so my 22-year-old could not stop giggling and laughing. She thought it was the funniest thing, right? So I have to stop from laughing. I had to turn on my business woman hat. And I'm like, okay, we're conducting this business. This is the agenda. These are the top topics.
It is serious work. You know what I mean? Even though you're working together, treat it like the 7-figure opportunity that it is. Absolutely.
Yes, for sure. I said, listen, I want to be an example for you guys. I have other people reaching out to me on how to do deals, on how to do other things in real estate. And I'm right here. Ask me questions. I want to give as much and be able to pour into you guys as much information as I have for you guys. I want you to be able to take advantage of it. If real estate's not your thing, that's okay. You listen, whatever you go into, I'm going to be able to help you with that. But let me prepare you right now. In business, this is what it's going to be like. We have meetings, there's agendas, there's topics. If there's something going on, we're going to talk about it. I want to hear your ideas on if there's something that could be done, more effectively.
Yeah.
Bring them. I'm open. And so it's been a great experience so far, except for my daughter's like, you're changing everything all the time.
Welcome to the world of working for a CEO, for an entrepreneur. Absolutely. And adaptability in the times like the ones that we live in, Ellie, is so important, for us to be able to pivot, to adapt. If the path that we've been going down through is not working anymore, you have to pivot. You have to be, creative, constantly be reinventing, innovating, even within the business. That is something that, we've been doing now, land flipping, for the last 19 years. And the way that we, for the most part, the bulk of the fundamentals are still the same, but there's some tactical things that have changed over time, because, time is always, is always changing. The marketplace is always changing, and you have to adapt and capitalize and seize the opportunities when the opportunities, show up. Like, for example, right now, 2020, everyone was like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? What's the state of the union for land? We had the experience of having gone through a recession in 2008. So we knew what to expect, that we were going to continue basically selling land steadily, just like we did back then. nothing could have prepared us for actually the upswing in the market in terms of people buying land like crazy, because all of a sudden they found themselves in their home stuck without the ability to travel, perhaps overseas or fly places, and now looking for maybe, a couple acres, on the outskirts of a city or in recreational areas as well. So it's been the perfect time to be in it for sure. And I love that you're giving it the seriousness, that you're seizing the opportunities, that you're willing to pivot and adapt. Because if you find a specific market, that is hot in that moment, you guys need to, all four of you need to pivot. And I love that it's all girl power, woman power right there. All four women, conducting business together. Yeah. Yes. So that's wonderful. I love that in that you're also setting for them a very important, I think, lesson in that there's two categories in life. There's your career and there's your financial category. And those two, for the most part, traditionally have been considered one. But if your daughter decides that, that real estate is not for her, it can continue being a strategy for finances. But she might decide that for a career-wise, she wants to devote herself to something else, but she can be taken care of from a financial standpoint using real estate so that she can go out there and pursue the things that she wants to pursue, for the love of it, without thinking about a profit, just because that's where your heart is, So, and that you're making that distinction in that whatever it is that you do, you'll at least have this baseline from a financial perspective. And what better legacy, in my opinion, than to leave that, for your girls. At least that's, for us, it's super important that Sophia is always in our environment, that is part of the decisions that we make, that she hears the confidence with which we now operate in terms of committing to bigger projects, to bigger types of properties. And we started with the confidence of like, oh my God, I can only flip a $10,000 piece of land, to now I'm looking at $10 million assets, $15 million assets. And she'll be able to stand just like your girls are going to be able to stand on your shoulders, of the confidence level that you are at right now, and that you'll continue pushing boundaries, to expand on for sure. So that's wonderful. Now, if somebody is listening to our conversation right now, and you wanted to give them 3 pieces of advice in terms of, getting unstuck, or their overthinking, or their, the perfectionist that you talked about earlier, what would those 3 pieces of advice be in order for them to go ahead and decide to commit and decide to rise and elevate and step into that greatness?
Yeah, so I would say is just do it, This is a Nike commercial. No, no, I would just say stop overthinking it, because, the longer you wait, you're just postponing all the great things that are to occur. Yeah. And just go ahead and do it. Stop overthinking it. And the other thing, I actually have 3. Don't chase the money. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Do not chase the money. Work without an expectation of receiving. I know that when you invest money, you want to receive money. It's going to come. It's going to come. Be valuable. Bring service. Be of service, because when you're valuable, you're unstoppable.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? I love that.
And then find your passion. What are you good at? Find your strengths in this business. Are you good at talking with people? Just build a relationship with people. If they don't want to buy, or if they don't want to sell, that's okay. That's fine. But maybe you can just establish a relationship with them. And then in the future, they may have somebody to refer you to, or someone else that might be wanting to sell or buy. And just having that great communication and establishing those relationships really gets you far in real estate, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I love that.
Have a builder who I reached out, and I was selling a piece of land. Unfortunately, there were so many issues with it we couldn't go through. Now he's reaching out to me. Hey, do you know, an electrician? Do you know, someone who can do roofing for me? And so you just establish those relations. And he's calling me constantly. Hey, you have any more property for me?
Yeah, and he can become now at some point a multiplier. Where it's this buyer that doesn't just buy that one piece of land, but buys many others and refers you possibly even to other builders. It's so important to go into business with this long-term horizon of building relationships. Totally agree with you there. Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's where I've been focusing on one relation at a time with my clients, with my, people that I buy from. And that has gotten me so far up until now where I'm at. And it's been a great experience. I thank you guys for the opportunity of, going before us and doing all this hard work and be able to be a resource for us. You give so much information, valuable information to people for free in the Facebook group. And that's amazing. And that's actually reaping and sowing. You're sowing so much into us. And then the benefits from it for you is just seeing us, I bet there's so many as far as like seeing us, how we're growing from baby steps up to now, we're walking. I would say I'm in the walking phase.
And the biggest joy is for me hearing, $65,000, that more than paid for coaching. And this is only the beginning. We're only in the first 5 months, of actual, getting things done, rolling up our sleeves and doing the work, you know what I mean? And so can you imagine the trajectory of what is possible? So that for me is number one important, that you're going to be seeing an ROI on your investment for sure. But because I'm teaching you how to fish, that ROI will come in many, hundreds of thousands of dollars down the road as well, will continue to come. But the human part of now your girls being part of this, that really lights us up. That really lights us up, that I have not personally met them, and somehow my great work has affected them and will continue to affect maybe even their children. You know what I mean? That brings tears to my eyes. That makes me, wake up every day and overcome any hurdles, because we all have them. We just have them at a bigger level. You know what I mean? We all have challenges. And I'll keep them posted. I'll keep you posted as far as, any future opportunities as well.
Absolutely. Sure. And I forgot, I got the hat.
Woo! Ooh, I might have to put this on video then for sure. Because now you have the swag. I love that. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ellie.
All right, Michelle, have a good one.
I hope this episode left you feeling inspired and ready to get inflows of cash, inflows of light, and inflows of faith in your life. I welcome your reviews on iTunes. Please leave me a review and help me create an amazing community of women in flow. Thank you, as always, for sharing your voice by going to michellebosch.com and joining the conversation about this show. And while you're there, grab a copy of my 10 Commandments to Living a Life in Flow. You can also follow me on Facebook at Michelle Bosch and on Instagram at Michelle Bosch Official. Thank you very much, and until the next one.